state meditation. Get into alignment, calm the mind and the body down, get in contact with the different types of energy in your system. So we do a meditation, and then we do punching training and form training. So I'm about to start that now. Welcome everyone. We're teaching a meditation. Join in if you can. What's up, Cloudy? What's up, Wani? Yes, I can teach you to punch fast. Jump in the link in my bio. I've got a free, basically, I'm going to be teaching you now how to do it. I'm doing a meditation and punching training and form training, how to punch fast and powerfully. Now, Grand Rising, sir. I like the white sleeves with the black shirt. Dave, red. Colin, welcome. Katie. Alrighty. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
How are you?
All is well. All is well. What else we got? We got Wardo, Shayna, welcome, welcome. Daniel-san. Morning. Oh, what time is it in the States again?
Around 2 p.m.
2 p.m. So good afternoon. And it's evening for you, Dr. Namata?
It's 10 p.m.
10 p.m. Look at that. Well done. Proud of you.
It's my bedtime.
Oh, good way to send yourself off with a bit of meditation and training. Alrighty. Let's begin. So, standing 1 second. Stance on. Standing nice and upright. Righty, so knees softly bent, toes pointed in, rising up through the spine. Let everything release down, so centering and sensing, just a soft feeling like a fountain up through the spine, everything releasing, and then turning from the center of the center. Letting everything just wash down and release through the system. Encouraging the spine to open up and drop any tension as you release down through the body. So you're looking to turn from the center of mass. So let the shoulders and hips and legs release. So you're not moving from the muscles, you're moving from the center of mass. That little, it's like a little marble somewhere behind your belly button, and letting everything release around that. Good, keep going. All right, bend and bow. So rolling down, get the spine moving, coming back up, lengthen extension through the spine, looking up to the sky. So you're flexing and extending your spine, waking up the central column. It's like you have water or air expanding in the center. Good. Okay, so stabilize the stance. So try to keep the hips and stance as stable as possible so that we open up the lower part of the spine, rising through the crown, circle the head. So length and openness through the spine. Good, other direction. Really softly sensing your center as you do this. Excellent. Alrighty, so think of it like your center's got water flowing out through your arms and your legs. So you want a sense of opening through all the joints. So even your hands, your fingers, and your feet should have a sense of open extension. So they're opening up, you're not just flaccid. You want a sense of water, like water is flooding out through the limbs. Maintain that sense of opening and expanding through the limbs as you rotate the hands. So you're opening up the shoulder joints, maintaining that length and extension through the limbs. Good, other direction. We want nice, open, mobile shoulders because they deliver, or they actually do majority of the movements in our punches and our blocks. Alrighty. Stabilize the stance and the torso. Now opening up through the crown, mobilizing the neck, opening up the top part of the spine. You can get a little bit of movement in the chest if you want, if you feel you need to release lower. So there can be a little bit, but you know, this is mainly for opening up through the neck. You do what feels right for you. Other way. Good, all right, now shake it out. Dropping the weight down and releasing any tension. Shake your system out. All right, now let's do our state training. So either in your, if you're really into the martial side, do it in your stance. If you're just wanting to develop more the spiritual, energetic side, you can do it seated, lying down. It's up to you. But feel free to change position as we go through, whatever feels comfortable and good for you. So start by finding a comfortable position and close down your eyes. Take some deep, calm, peaceful breaths. Feel your body. Let it completely relax. Calm down all emotions and feelings. And simply feel that you are living. Now bring your awareness to your spiritual intention, your highest intention. Peace, joy, power, love, prosperity, freedom, whatever it might be. Softly focus on your spiritual intention. Feel the elevated emotion. Attune with the good feeling quality. Align your consciousness with the consciousness of your intention. Feel it. If you want to, you can imagine a person, place, event, or experience which helps you to feel that emotional quality. Rest in that energy. Enjoy that frequency. Now, sense your center. Softly sense the space of the center. Centering in your intention, sensing the space from the earth through the tail to the crown, bringing the center into vibrational alignment with your intention. Feel it. Sensing that space. Like an energetic antenna. That vibrates on the frequency of your intention. Feel it. Now, imagine a small ball of bright, radiant light, like a marble of bright white energy, shining down at the base of the spine. With each breath you take, see this ball of light becoming brighter and brighter. Now, softly draw up and breathe in to rise this light up through to the crown. As you breathe out, gently release. Breathing in to rise, breathing out to release. Centered in your intention, infusing the spirit into the center. Now, rest in this sense of risen expansion. Feeling good. And slowly expand your awareness, sensing from your center into the back, chest and belly, into the neck and the head, sensing into the arms, legs, hands and feet. Sensing the entire space the body occupies. Calm, peaceful breaths. Centered, sensing the space. Now, start to sink down, like a gentle shower washing down through the skull, brain, face, eyes, cheeks, jaw, tongue and neck. Sinking down through the shoulders, chest, back and belly. Sinking down through the arms, forearms and hands. Sinking, releasing. Continue to sink down through the hips, thighs, knees, calves, shins and feet, sinking through the entire space. Sinking, releasing, like a gentle shower of energy washing through the entire body, allowing any tensions to dissolve from the system. As you sink energetically, sink now emotionally, sink now mentally. Let go, release any thoughts or emotions, doubt, fear, blame, complaint, grief, anger, resentment. Sink and let go all forms of force, all forms of resistance within your system. Sink, let go. Let go of any subconscious programs, beliefs, thought patterns, or positionalities which hold any resistance or force. Any vibrational upset. Sink, let go, surrender. Centered in intention, sensing the space, sinking, letting go. Now, see the light once again in the center, infused with the spirit, elevated in your emotional quality. And slowly expand this light from the center. See it spreading into the whole body. The torso, neck and head. The shoulders, hips, arms, legs, hands and feet filled with this radiant white energy. See it. With each breath you take, see this light body becoming brighter and brighter. Now, slowly draw the center forward. Imagine a point in front of you, like a mirror of your own center. Feel the pull from that line as your center draws forward and connects. see a plane of bright white energy from your center to that line in front of you. Intention, energy flowing through that plane. Take some calm, peaceful, powerful breaths as you see the power plane. Sense it. Feel it. Centered in your intention, sensing the space, sinking, releasing, dissolving, seeing the light in the system flowing, all your intention, energy, space, everything flowing down through the power plane. Taking some calm, peaceful, powerful breaths. As you rest in the state. Attune once again to your spiritual intention. Feel that good feeling quality. Allow it to vibrate within every cell. Infusing the body, the energy, the emotions, the mind, the frequency of your intention. Feel it. Infusing the spirit into the whole system. And bring the state into our training today. And use it throughout your daily life, however you wish. Open the eyes whenever you're ready. Right, stance on. Let's maintain state, but I want to go through our punches first today. So bring up the guard, maintaining the sense of the state, power plane on, sensing the space, releasing, and just start your slow chain punching. Fist over fist, wrist over wrist, maintaining the same feeling, the same condition you adjust in as you do your chain punches. Slow, conscious, controlled. Maintain the sense of the whole body aimed forward as you punch. So it's not that one hand comes forward and the other one just turns off. Everything feels like it wants to flow forward as you chain punch. So you can imagine, like, if there was a sun behind you and the light was flowing through you, the light would continuously flow forward regardless of the positions of your hand in space. whether it's going backwards or forwards, the light still shines through you. Or similarly, like water flowing through your system. And try to slow it down even a little bit more. So slow down the punches so that you can sense. So gravity and the position of your body will awaken activities or tensions in your system. Use centering in your intention, sensing and sinking to dissolve the tension from your system throughout the movement pattern. This is how you deeply release any force or tension in your system, is through conscious release work. So application of state through movement. When you reach to punch, your punch should fully extend to a straightened arm, but not locked. So you don't lock it, you straighten it. The punch is directly in your center. And the striking point is the bottom 3 fingers and knuckles at this space here. Landing on the same spot each time. Sensing your whole body, focused on the power plane, bringing the state into the punching sequence. Good, now let's bring it into some kicking. So just raising the leg up in front. It's harder to do this one slow, of course, because you're on one leg, but you can still have a sense of control as you do it. You don't have to flick it up as fast as possible. So maintaining state the best as you can, rising up to kick. Now, you can either have your feet closer, because your idea is that you want to maintain a sense of centered balance. You don't want to be doing this as you kick. So I don't want to be going. So the way to do that is either you bring your feet closer just for practice sake, or when you land your kick, you step slightly forward so that you still have that forward momentum. All of your mass, momentum, intention, the state should always be forward. If you want to put your guard up, you can, it's up to you. But getting a good, these slow repetitions is what will bring the power into your body, because you're consciously unifying the stance through sensing, sinking and dissolving tensions, maintaining balance, focusing all your mass, momentum, intention, and energy down through the target. So it's the constant repetitions of these simple movements that make them powerful. Good, back to punching. So you can go a little bit faster now, maintaining state. Remember, primary is state, centered in your intention, flowing through the power plane. Keep that soft feeling in your system so you don't feel like you're tensing up at any point. You're moving the structure backed by the mass, unified by intention. So the intention leads the energy, leads the body. So you focus on the power plane, coming straight down through the center, everything else funneling into that as you move. And go a little bit faster, maintaining that same sense of the state, centered in your intention, sensing the space, sinking, releasing, seeing how everything funnels through the power plane in your mind's eye, keeping that same sense in your body so you're not tensing in any areas, everything is releasing. Good, back to kicking. It's up to you, you can do the kick coming forward, or feet together, just maintaining the state as you do it. So you want to be kicking to about groin height. go backwards and forwards, that's fine. Just make sure you're nice and upright, still focused on the power plane. Good, back to punches. Staying in state, power plane on, slowly start to speed it up, if that makes sense. Build up the pace. Still focused on everything funneling down the center. You can start to move backwards and forwards. Now, if you're moving it backwards and forwards, if you decide to move, it's up to you. Maintain the spine on the same line. So you're trying to make sure that all of your power moves directly into the target. So try to avoid this, where your mass is going left and right. Have your mass going forwards and backwards. It's like your spine's directly targeted to the end of the power plane. All right, speed it up. And time. Lift it up, shake it out, and let's go through the form. So once again, this is just bringing the state into the movements. So just shake your body out, loosen up a little. You should be quite aware in your body now, both physically, energetically, and intentionally. So take a moment to reset the state in whichever way suits you best, whether that's visually, sensing, feeling quality, power plane, up to you. Let's bring it into the form. All right, today we got 3, 6, 9. Today we will do breakout rooms. Share in the breakout room if you feel the need, but also remember you can just continue to practice your forms. If you need to go about your day, God bless you and peace be with you. Otherwise, I'll see you back in the main room when we do some more training. So jump into your breakout rooms. What's up YouTube? What's up Instagram? So we're live on both today. So that was the first part of our training this morning. So we do this 3 times a day. We do the state training, so we do that meditation which brings you into the state, which is the powerful, peaceful condition of centering in your intention, so aligning with a higher field of consciousness, sensing your body, so you're conscious of the actual space your body occupies, sinking, releasing, letting go, and then seeing, using the visual quality of energy to bring it all together. So to infuse the spirit into the system to generate maximum power. Now, if you need help, jump into my free community. We've got free courses, coaching, people help you in there, but link in the bio. Anyway, so then we do our punching training, so bringing the power into the punching and kicking, then we practice the form. So the form trains all the different defensive and offensive positions. So you know, the chain punch is the foundation, and the movements of the limbs will be what the hands can roll into if they meet force in combat contact. So then in our next session, so we do this 3 times a day, 7 a.m. Sydney time, 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. In my free community, I go live, so jump into my free community. There's a link in the bio or somewhere, whatever platform you're on. And in the free community, you get access to the guided 75 flow, more curriculum community, a map of people, 10,000 people over the world you can train with as well. So jump in there to the free community. But if you want to be online here and train with me live, then you jump into with the guys here in my Zoom, they're from my paid academy. So here you get my step-by-step curriculum. You can win a wooden dummy as well. You can train with me directly, and I give you personal guidance, and there's all bonus courses, and you can train at my physical academy. Lots of fun stuff. But the aim is to make you punch powerfully and live peacefully. So you have a lot of power in your body, in your strikes, your ability to defend yourself confidently. And then training that discipline as well. So the discipline that comes with it, and live peacefully because you've disciplined the mind, emotions, and energy to be under your control. So you're not a slave to your thoughts and emotions, you're the master of them. So to punch powerfully, to live peacefully. So now everyone's in breakout rooms. So there's about 13, 14 people in here today, including me. So yeah, if you're keen to jump in, please do. Hey Mel, how are you? I can take any questions you have now. If you have any questions, you can post them whilst they're in the breakout rooms before we come back for more training. Where are you guys from? Sup Corsox, SJJU, sup Choyab. So YouTube, Instagram's there. Instagram, YouTube's there. I blame Joel. Don't blame Joel, he's probably a nice bloke. The bearded wonder barber. Oh, well, g'day bearded wonder barber. You just jumped in at the middle of our live section. Yeah, you can still train free online. How long do you know martial arts? I started martial arts when I was 6, so about 40 years. So a little bit. Oh, it's Q&A actually after this. Cool. Hello from Italy. What's up, Jacket? What's up, Neymar Samoa? Neymar Samoa. Do you make? Yeah, we make martial arts content. You know, we teach the spiritual. The question is, do I make martial arts content? Yes, we make martial because I teach martial arts, but I also teach the spiritual and side of it as well. Most people don't know that Kung Fu and martial arts in its origins was from the teachings of the Buddha. So one of the Buddha's disciples, Bodhidharma, started the Shaolin Temple. So martial arts had a deep sense of becoming enlightened or more conscious through training. But most people focus on the martial side only. Larry, how are you, sir?
Yeah, how are you?
Good to see you. They're just in breakout rooms right now. That's why it's just you and I.
Oh, okay.
How are you?
I was on the other chat and I thought, well, maybe I'll jump onto this one because he might have been delayed on this one. So
the other chat, the
philosophy Q&A.
Oh, yep.
5:30.
Yep. Oh, so yeah, but it's the same link, so it should have brought you here. That's strange.
It said we'll let the guy know. It was different though. When I opened it up, it was a little bit different.
Oh, let me check.
It said something different, but that's okay.
Oh, I think you know what? You're right. You're right. Thank you. You've helped me pick that up. I didn't realize the link was different. I've got to fix that. Thank you for catching that. That's the only one that's different. Isn't that funny? I think that's because I used to do that live in the other group, and that's why. Welcome back, Larry. It's great to see your face.
Yeah, I'm so glad that things, that you just got back around, and I can at least spend some more time with you.
Awesome.
And obviously, to have a couple of minutes of one-on-one is worth its weight in gold. So let me
Shoot.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So, I put in my discussion about, the 75 days. I put in there that what I wanted to achieve in the 75 days was to finally do, Sinum Tao, which I've never really been able to memorize and just simply do, okay? And also to start incorporating the state into that, into doing that. Mm-hmm. Because it was really interesting early on in my experiences with you. One of the other, Ward, I think was his name. Is that his name? Ward?
Yeah.
There was another gentleman involved. He was very nice man. And he talked about how your teacher said that the form was very powerful, very healing. Even before you begin to talk about it as the martial art, that it was, I don't know, call it Qigong, internal power, whatever you want to call it. And I've always been fascinated by the form. I've just never been able to master it. Sure. And I'm curious, from your perspective, is that a reasonable, kind of internal power development form, or do you have to, start way back at the very beginning and sit there and do
not at all. No, not at all. It is the beginning. It's the foundational form. So your objective would be to master the sequence and the movements. So you have the shapes and the movements down packed, so that you get to a point where it's just like driving a car. You don't have to think about the movement sequence.
Right, exactly.
Once you've set that movement sequence, then it's much easier to expand and go deeper into the state, because you're not thinking, okay, where does my arm go next? Should I, you know what I mean? So yes. I'm just going to close all the rooms now because I've been in there for a bit. But to answer your question, yes, it's absolutely achievable. It does have a healing effect, because when you firstly center in your intention, you aim your consciousness upwards. So you move towards the healing frequency of unconditional love and peace, right? So you're getting a healing frequency in your system, which you center in. You center in that frequency. Then you sense your etheric body, your energy body, and your energy body is that which heals, because the energy body is the perfect template for the physical body. So it potentiates healing. I've had countless people that have been healed through the training, through their spiritual intention being in their center, so raising the level of consciousness so that they're not thinking in ways which poison their system, fear, doubt, blame, anger, negativity, stress, worry, so on and so forth. And sensing the etheric body starts to bring that frequency, that sense of consciousness into the whole body. So that, for example, remember, Ward, you brought up Ward, he had a collapsed Here he is. He can tell you.
There he is. Hey Ward, how are you?
Fantastic, mate. Great to see you again, Larry. You know, or I was
Really
going to
good
say
to see
Lazar.
you.
If you're here in Aussie, you'd be Lazar. You know?
Hey.
But yeah, Larry. Yeah, good on you, mate.
Well,
Wonderful to see you again. You been well,
Yes, thank you.
mate?
We were
Fantastic.
talking about what you had mentioned early on about his Sifu Kogan's master, and some of the you actually put some stuff in your chat about him, and I was remarking back to Sifu that that had an effect on me in terms of my desire to really get back into Sinun Tam and the form and all that, and he was telling me that there were some healing moments amongst his students, and he was saying maybe you were one of them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sir.
so maybe you can tell them yourself what happened. I was about to say, well, this happened to Ward, and then your face popped up.
So I had an ACDF on C67. You know what that means, right? No one else does. You know the fusion, yeah, and anterior. And when
Could you say that in English for the rest of us?
surgery, neck surgery. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, and when they went in, a successful operation, but they overstretched one of my vocal cords or something. And anyway, when I woke up, one of them was palsy, paralyzed, right? So I had no speech because it had paralyzed and gone right out to the sides. So I had one that was flapping in the breeze, nothing to talk to, right? So that was paralyzed. So the workaround, they gave me a Botox injection on the paralyzed one, which brought it in situ. So it has the working on it starting to bounce again. So I had a bit of a voice, but I was expecting to maybe every 6-9 months. However, as long as it took for the Botox to wear off, to get more surgery and more Botox injections. Plus, I was doing weekly speech therapy to keep the one that was working from getting overworked and fucked up and all the rest of it, right? So that was my life. Anyway, started training, Sunan Tao, state training. Within a few months, I'm like, fuck, my voice sounds pretty good, doesn't it? And I was like getting a bit excited, like, oh, this is really amazing, because I really wanted it to heal, of course, right? And then so a couple of months, and then I went back to the specialist, and he goes, oh, you sound pretty good. I can't wait to put the camera down. So he went up through the nose, down there, live camera, and he goes, look at that, they're both moving. The paralysis is gone, right? So that was pretty awesome, right? Yeah. So I'm super excited to tell people that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's terrific. Love it. Yeah.
So if we look at what's a part of that process is when you center in your spiritual intention, you're aligning with the fields of healing. So we have levels of consciousness, right? You got the lower ones: fear, doubt, blame, anger, resentment, complaint. You got the higher ones: courage, love, peace, joy, enlightenment, so on, right? When you go towards love and in peace, when you go towards the enlightenment levels, naturally that heals, because unconditional love is a healing vibration, right? So via Ward bringing a sense of lovingness and peace into his center, he starts to heal automatically via the level of consciousness. Next part, when you sense the etheric body, the energy body is the thing that heals you constantly. Think of it like this: if you cut your arm will start to heal, right? So your body wants to heal. As you sense the etheric body and you're removing all of the blockages to healing, the habits physically, emotionally, and mentally which drain your vitality, your body will naturally heal. See, I don't normally tell people about the healing side of it, because most people come wanting to focus more on the self-defense or the spiritual side, just to develop that. Yeah, most people come in for the self-defense, but there is a definite sense of healing, both physically, emotionally, and mentally, that comes with it as well. It's starting to come more to the forefront, because people are just talking about it all the time, and now we have social media, whereas normally it was just in the kind of the container of my academy, which is cool. So anyway, welcome to Q&A. So today's Q&A and more on the philosophy side. So if you want to keep practicing your forms, your pivoting, your punching, your kicking, by all means do. If you have any questions on the philosophy, if you have questions on more the techniques, we'll save that for the techniques sessions. But if we go more into the actual ideas, philosophy, and concepts behind it today, that'd be good. Because I know some people come in specifically for that side. So if you're asking me about the position of a punch, well, we'll save that for a different. So when I answer questions after the striking, after the fighting sessions. So fire away. What you got, team?
What are the indicators or causes that causes us to get out of state?
Sure. So what brings you out of state?
What brings us out?
Yeah, sure. In essence, like if you want to go really to the root of the problem, it's the vibrations within you that co-vibrate with the vibrations outside of you. So let's just say someone gets really angry at you, right? And normally someone would say, oh, that person got angry at me, they told me I was a jerk, so I got angry back, right? So their anger will trigger your anger, for example, right? But really, it's because you have anger in yourself that it triggers off. Because if you had dissolved the anger enough to a point where it wasn't in you, you wouldn't react angrily. There wouldn't be any anger in you to react with anger. So the ultimate kind of cause probably isn't the best word. The ultimate, let's say, the biggest reason we move in that direction is because we have it in us. So by letting go of the lower fields, anger, fear, doubt, blame, resentment, victim mindset, you don't react, you don't trigger, you don't get pulled out of state because you're not giving them anything to pull you out of it. Because there's a couple of things operative here. Firstly, it's your own internal vibration, but secondly, it's that which vibrates in a certain way is drawn, meaning some call it like the law of attraction. You know, when you have a certain energy in yourself, it draws that to you, right? Now that's important to be aware of, because then you start to take responsibility. Like, you know, I got into this argument and this person pissed me off. No, you had that vibration in you which drew them to you. So you could both be pissed off together. And then you start to see things from the lens of the consciousness level that you're at, right? So the main thing that pulls you out is your own inner vibration, if we're going to be completely honest and sincere with ourselves, you know. And
Even when you're working out as well, because I noticed, like earlier, I was in the state, and then by the end of Sim Tao, I was probably due to overthinking what I was doing. And
the thing is that the state isn't a static thing either. It's really just a sense of alignment and release. So state is a way of being. I have a sense of alignment. I'm aware that my spiritual intention is peace, for example, and surrender. I'm letting go moment to moment. So the whole point is to actually live in the present via intention and surrender. So you're not holding anything from the past, and you're in alignment with your highest level of power or spirit. So like you can use this symbol here to help you. So you've got your spiritual intention, right? You're staying in alignment with peace, for example, and you're letting go, you're releasing, right? And the cross is described as like space and time. Space and time, and the present moment's here. So you're trying to live in the present moment where you're not holding on to things. You're releasing anything that comes up moment to moment, because everything's releasing anyway. It's just our stupid thoughts and emotions that want to hold on to things, right? So you're constantly releasing and letting go, and you're constantly in alignment. So that's kind of riding the wave, so to speak.
so you can be in alignment and release at the same time?
Yeah, 100%. That's the state. It's like a fountain, right? It goes up and down simultaneously.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you don't have to be in your mind that, okay, the state is this exact feeling. It's a condition which evolves and flows moment to moment. If you're going surfing and you're catching a wave, or you're bodyboarding or something, it moves according to what's happening. So you can be in state in different conditions. So you can, what I mean is you can be angry and be in state.
Yeah.
Meaning you're moving upward in your level of consciousness, not downward. You can be depressed and be in state because you're moving upward, not downwards. Do you understand? So it does. peace, joy, love, consciousness, enlightenment, prosperity, freedom, whatever it is, that's your intention. So that sets the direction. You say, I want to go to Japan, and then you set the direction, right? And then your attention moment to moment is what influences that throughout the day. So where do you place your focus? Our focus as Kung Fu practitioners is our non-physical selves. That the physical body does what it does, like it eats, it sleeps, the heart beats, the eyes see, you breathe. You don't have to make your physical body do anything. It does it by itself. It's autonomous. Our focus in Kung Fu is to be more conscious of our non-physical self, the space, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual quality, so that you can infuse the spirit through the mind, through the emotion, through the energy into the body. So that's what they call the infusion of the spirit, because you're using your spiritual intention and sensing of yourself to infuse the spirit into your system. So it's like every cell starts to vibrate on that level of your intention, whether that's peace, power, joy, whatever, so that you start to experience life in that way, the infusion of the spirit. When I first heard that, I was like, what the balls does this mean? It sounded really cool. Infuse the spirit into the center, and I had no idea what it meant. But over time and practice, you gain the experience. And it's actually really simple. And this is what I wish for everyone, that they learn how to infuse the spirit. And it's very simple. You sense your center from your tailbone to your crown, and you bring to your mind your spiritual intention. The more you practice that over time, the more you influence your vibrational and emotional condition via that point of focus. So you sense your center as you bring your spiritual intention. And what you will notice over time is that that becomes so powerful that all you do is place your focus there, and automatically your energy and emotional condition rises. Even if you're feeling a sense of depressed feeling or grief or whatever, it still gets better. So you move maybe from a sense of guilt up to an anger. That's a good thing, because the power is increasing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One last.
Hope to help everyone else as well with that.
Yeah. One last point, because your question actually had the problem within the question, in that one of the biggest problems is cause and effect itself, because we think in terms of cause and effect, because we think in a linear way. Like, I did this before, so that must be why this is happening later, right? Cause and effect. I suggest you all check out the book Success is for You by Dr. David Hawkins, where he kind of breaks down the belief in cause and effect. Cause and effect is true up until a point. Cause and effect is true up until 499 on the map of consciousness, meaning at the top of reasoning, at the highest levels of science, cause and effect has a level of truth. But to break through that barrier into the non-linear, into the realm of the spirit, right, is to move into love, is to move into non-linear, where it's not based on cause and effect, it's based on spontaneous emergence, meaning our potential manifests according to the situation. So whatever the situation brings, your potential will manifest accordingly. So everything's happening as a natural growth of your potential, as opposed to cause and effect. Does that make sense? So this is the first jump you want to make in Kung Fu, is the infusion of the spirit. That's the first jump. Meaning, I want to be responsible for my emotional and mental condition. And the way to do that is the infusion of the spirit. So I'm responsible for my emotional condition, moment to moment. It's not the weather's fault, it's not my wife's fault, it's not the government or media or the church or my dog's fault. I'm personally responsible for my emotional and mental condition, moment to moment, forever, right? So that's the first shift, where you go out of force and into power. That's the critical line of integrity, right? Because you're using courage to face what's within you. This guy here, get to know this map, this helps a lot. So that's that line of integrity, where you go from weak, forceful frequencies that are downward to powerful, strong frequencies which are upward. So that's the first jump. The second big jump, or milestone, you might say, I think every jump's a milestone, but it seems that the next biggest one is is cause and effect. From cause and effect to spontaneous emergence. I'll give a little bit more context so this makes a bit more sense, because this was a tricky one for me to grasp for a while. So if I do this, I go, and this is how Dr. Hawkins would teach it. He'd say, if I blow like this, the dust particles get moved away. Now, did I cause that dust to move away? Or did us having this conversation, did gravity, did barometric pressure, did wherever the dust came from, did my parents who met each other, who made a baby called me, and then all of you guys so everything that happened prior to this moment led to that happening. So if you're thinking in terms of cause and effect, seawater, then everything prior to this moment is the actual cause, not just me blowing that way, right? So that was more my potential manifesting in the moment. So that was the spontaneous emergence of my potential in that moment, given the situation. So, you know, if you have a seed which is on concrete, it doesn't grow. But if it's in a good fertile soil, it will grow because the situation allows its potential to grow. Does that make sense? So that's the next jump. Out of cause and effect into spontaneous emergence. Out of kind of reason and step. Reason's a good thing, don't get me wrong, but out of the step by step into more the non-linear. The way Hawkins describes it in diagrammatic form is he goes, you have cause and effect at A causes B causes C, right? That's the cause and effect level, right? Maybe I'll do it a bit better. So down here, A causes B causes C. Now, what's actually operative on all levels, and it's what we're aiming at in our Kung Fu, is ABC. ABC is your spiritual intention, your highest level of consciousness. It's being in that frequency and allowing your potential to unfold moment to moment, as opposed to trying to force things. This was a big jump in understanding for me. When I kind of grasped this after reading, you know, a lot of Dr. Hawkins' books, spiritual practice, blah, 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 and I just stayed in alignment, everything started to flow, see Dave, flow and happen for me with ease. I didn't have to force things anymore. It was more of a letting go of trying to force and control the world and letting things manifest naturally. It's not that I don't work, because I work a lot because I love it, but you know, it's in a state of flow, not force anymore. So the last part of that equation is, it's the field, it's the ABC that leads to the A causes B causes C. Your actions come from your level of consciousness. If you are a loving person, loving actions happen. If you have a sense of prosperity, your life will be prosperous. If you have a sense of anger, you will find angry things to be angry about. So it's the level of consciousness that influences the physical, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that. I like the way you explained that.
Good. Do we have any final questions or discussion?
I was chatting to Jace about it, and
Yep.
I was like, I just need bullet points.
My answer was shorter than Sifu's.
ABC, there's your short answer. Hi, Mel.
We also have to remember, sometimes shit just happens. Like, it is not. That does exist. That's a real thing.
Yeah, it is.
You mean shit?
Yeah.
You mean shit happens?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I do have a question on that. Sorry, just managing babies. When you're talking about the spontaneous immersion of our actions.
Emergence. Emergence, not immersion. Emergence. Like
Emergence.
emergence, yeah.
So that's always according to the field that we're in, right? Is that so? If we're in the field of love, then I think you did say this, but if we're in the field of love, then loving actions will come through us, right?
Mm.
Is that
Yep.
as opposed to like? So can we only have loving things come through us if we're in the field of love?
No. So think of it this way, right? You have a home that you live in, and you like to live there, and you go there at the end of the day and you sleep there, right? But you can also travel to other places. You can go to another person's home, you can go to the shops, right? So you have a consciousness level that you always come back to, but you can go to other ones. So a loving person still can have a frustration or a fear or a doubt or an anger. See you, Larry, great to see you, brother. But the thing is that you can think of it, if you want to think of it more precisely, you can think of it in terms of percentages. Like, you know, that loving person is going to have less angry thoughts, for example, you know, but they may still have them. But the whole idea is that as you raise up your level of consciousness, the things that prevent you from continuing to rise will come to the surface to be let go of. So that's where surrender comes into play.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not necessarily our actions reflect the level of consciousness, because I maybe I remember this incorrectly, but I thought I heard Dr. Hawkins say your actions will come according to the field that you're in.
That's right.
Because they come from the field. So if you're in the field
Yes.
of love, then your actions will be loving. If you're
Yes.
in the field of anger, your actions
Yes.
will be angry.
Yeah. So yeah, think of it this way.
But you can
So
move
you don't have to dissect them from each other. What I mean is let's just say you're in the field of love, right? And then you're surrounded by all these things which require or bring up a sense of anger. You will approach that angry situation or anger from within yourself from a loving perspective, as opposed to being caught in the field of anger, so to speak. So all the levels of consciousness exist simultaneously. It's not like, you know, what I mean is the field's the field. You know, and if your home is in a sense of love, but you travel to a place where there's a lot of anger, it may bring up anger within you, but you'll approach it from a state of love.
Okay.
So you might be more patient or compassionate with yourself because you vibrate more on that level, as opposed to starting to whip yourself or, you know, start a fight or something. To make it very simple, you know, we align with our highest intention, and we let go of the blockages on that journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Pleasure. Yes, Redman, you have a question, sir?
Right, I was asking a reminder of the 5 bodies. TJ said physical, energetic, mental, wisdom, etheric. I know like emotional is not on there.
Physical,
And then sometimes
physical, etheric. So physical, energetic, emotional, mental, spiritual.
hold on. Physical, energetic.
Energetic or chi body. Yeah, physical, energy. So energy, you can say ether, chi, energy, right? So you got physical body and it's energy body. Then you got your emotional body. Then you got your mental body and your spiritual body, right? Our kind of training asks us to align with our spiritual body via the spiritual intention. The spiritual intention is the mind aimed at the spirit, which then brings in a vibrational quality into the emotions, right? So your mind focused on the spirit, spiritual intention, brings the quality into the emotions, which vibrates in the etheric body, which you feel then in the physical.
How would you define the spiritual and energetic? Because they kind of sound similar.
Different. So your physical body, right? Your physical mass has an etheric body or a chi body. That etheric body links to your emotional body. So your emotional and mental body, so they're very overlapped. That's the body you use in dreams, or if you've ever had an out-of-body experience, right? There was I saw a video with Georges St. Pierre, the UFC champ, when he did an ayahuasca thingo, whatever they're called, retreat, and he was talking about how he had an out-of-body experience, and he was looking down at the room, and he with his etheric, with his they call it the psychonoetical or the psychic body. With that body, he like went over his friend's shoulder and was like watching what his friend was doing, like he was texting someone. And after the experience, he said, "Oh, you were texting this person and you were telling them this." And he's like, "How did you know?" He's like, "Because I was watching." So I thought that was really cool. Anyway, so the etheric body, the energy body, is the template of the physical, which links to your emotional through to the mental. The spiritual body is like the soul self, like, you know, our God, spirit self, so to speak. The knowledge of that is through the intuition, the feeling quality. So you know you're in alignment with spirit via the emotional resonance in your heart center. That's one of the problems with social conditioning, is that we get trained not to trust our heart. You know, you're having a good time, you're enjoying yourself, and then your mum and dad say, "Don't do that." So you're like, "Oh, I was enjoying myself, I felt good, but I did something wrong. Or you're at school and you're having a laugh, you're enjoying yourself, you feel good, and then you're once again, hey, don't do that, and then the teacher straps you. They used to belt us with straps here, but anyway. I think Colin has experienced that too, yeah. So what am I getting at? Yeah, the emotional center, the heart center is an important one to be conscious of, because that indicates our degree of alignment with spirit via the emotional quality. Is it expansive? Do I have a sense of wholeness, oneness? Am I moving upward? That shows the connection to spirit. If it's moving away, like, you're really hating on someone, you're like, fuck that guy, or whatever, right? You don't feel good, right? You may feel a sense of being better than them. But that's not really a good feeling. That's not like a lovingness. And that non-good feeling shows you that you're actually looking away from the spirit. Your spirit doesn't agree, and it's saying that via the emotional quality. Your spirit's never going to be like, yeah, fuck that guy. Because spirit's connected to everything, you know what I mean? So why would spirit hate itself? It doesn't make sense. It's illogical.
Right.
Cool.
And in the Vedic, and even some of the Buddhist traditions, the mental and emotional body, like you say, not only overlap, but they're the same body. And they separate that body from the intellectual insight and instinct body, like you were saying. So that one that kind of gets voided or like not really noticed. So yeah, there's just sometimes the mental and the emotional one are actually the same body.
Yeah, that's described. Yeah, they call it in the Researchers of Truth. They call it the psychonoetical, because it's part emotion, part mind, and you can think of it in terms of like all thoughts have some emotion and all emotions have some thought. Our objective in our training is to take out the overly emotional and dissolve the overly emotional ones in a negative sense, and have more ones from a level of consciousness, of reasoning. So you're acting from a higher level of consciousness, not a lower level of, for example, desire, pride, or fear. So in the Daskalos teachings, they would call them desire thoughts and thought desires. Desire thoughts are the more demonic ones. Thought desires are the more angelic ones. And you want to increase the angels, decrease the demons, so to speak.
Yeah. Also, in Sanskrit, there isn't even a different word for imagination and emotion. It's called vikalpa. It's just one word, because emotions require imagination to have to explain them, to have to communicate your emotions to somebody else, or even to communicate them to yourself. You kind of have to be use your imagination to be what is this feeling like? That's why we get pit of our stomach and our heart hurts, all that. So it's imagination. And also to figure out imagination requires to be imaginative requires emotion. So it's kind of cool that some places that's the same word.
Interesting. Very good. All right, team. Well, I'll call it there. I'm gonna get on with the rest of the day. Thank you for being here. Be back on for our next session. Peace.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for our live session. That went a bit longer than we normally go. Jump into the free community on school. Oh, wait, we have a question. We have a question here. I had an out-of-body experience once when I played a game of badminton. It was my best game. Oh, shit, where'd the question go? Here we go. It was my best game because it was in slow motion. I was at the top of the roof. All right, how do I bring that up? Sorry, 1 second. Top chat. Well, I'm new to this live thing and the question disappeared, but yeah, I feel you. Actually, there's a similar story. I remember Kobe Bryant saying that happened with him once as well. When he had an injury, he just felt like he was out of his body and he played so well. Yeah, it seems as the more alignment we are in with our spirit, the more things turn out in a positive way. So awesome. Thank you for sharing that experience. All right, peace out, YouTube. Much love.